All right. Hey everyone, the castle here. This is not an explain stuff video. I guess it's more like a kind of just a curious sort of poke at something that I see every once in a while. Like I like Jim Sterling stuff and everything like that. Um, Usually find him very entertaining, everything like that. Usually, mostly agree with everything he says. But I always kind of wonder about this railing against capitalism. First of all, ethics and capitalism are a non sequitur. Just just getting that out there right now. But socialism and ethics are also a non sequitur. Um, Ethics, I mean, maybe you might try to say that there's some kind of like an ethical argument, but it's really not because all you end up doing is making things worse by trying to solve the problem. In other words, it's a non-solution. But I mean, that's my personal take on this. But okay, so I mean, we could rail against communism, socialism, fucking capitalism all day long, but um, it brings up an actual like another point actually that I think is kind of worth mentioning. Um, which it kind of got the ball rolling on a different perspective, and this is something that I've kind of always noticed. It's just as a game developer, as somebody who's been developing games for a really long time. I can't make a game that doesn't involve incentives. I don't know how. In other words, like everybody will sit here, well, Minecraft creative mode. Minecraft creative mode has crazy amounts of incentive. What the hell are you talking about? You build something that's really cool. There's incentive there. All right, you make your own incentives. It's still incentives. Like I can't think of a system where it doesn't involve some kind of bartering of some kind of value of some kind of, you know what I mean? Like usually 9 times out of 10 in say a Minecraft creative mode, um, they'll show pictures of it and they'll contribute to a community, right? But they didn't do it for free because now they're contributing. In other words, they're still gaining posterity. They're still gaining a following. They might build a YouTube channel. They might have a Twitch stream following now. Like you build a community. Like communities grow because people want to be there, and that there's stuff coming out of it. Right? It's like a fountain, right? And then everybody gets to have some of the fountain, but like it's not like a everyone is equal kind of a socialist construct. It's very capitalistic. Just because you form a tribe doesn't mean that you're not in competition. That there isn't some form of competition going on. Um, a tribe or a community. I don't understand why railing against capitalism is relevant in the topic whatsoever. Really, the thing that's going on here is that passion projects are usually done for free, right? But they're not really free. It's more like I'm doing this really cool thing because I want to try to improve and get better at it. I want to make something. I want to build something, which is inherently ingrained in human biology, basically, in which building things makes better societies, where human beings are naturally, naturally want to create. They naturally want to build and create societies that are cooler and more functional, and you know, did people improving in art or having a hobby is is you know what I mean? It's not a non-incentivized system that there is incentives there. There are things to be gained from having a hobby, even if it is just being able to tune out and chill for a little while or escapism or something along those lines. I mean, I can't think of a game that people play that isn't in some way, shape, or form based on incentives. I can't. Like, even just moving forward progresses the storyline. You're being rewarded for doing what the designer wanted you to do. Like, well, why was Minecraft popular even before there was all the other mechanic? Because people like to build things. Because we are naturally builders. Human beings like to be creative. It's something that we do. Humans. Um, I can't think of a game that isn't capitalistic. I can't think of something. I mean, maybe like solitaire or something like that. How could you rail against capitalism and with a serious face. Meanwhile, most of the top, most popular games outside of like maybe like a argument like Minecraft Creative Mode or something like that are all about taking wealth from other people, are all about gaining additional wealth, are all about accruing, you know, improving and sharpening and honing your skills, basically, so that you can take the wealth from other players. Like, I mean, but you might say, well, not everything is a zero sum game. Kind of, everything kind of is. I know that you might try and say, well, under a globalist economy, not everything's a zero sum game. A global economy is a zero sum game. The only time it's not is when you're inflating a bubble, which usually pops. It's called a fucking economic collapse. And that does happen. It happens a lot. Okay? And if an economic collapse is possible, then you're inflating a bubble. In other words, there's really no way around it. Everything kind of just goes to a certain point, and then it collapses, and then it goes to a certain point, right? So I mean, maybe Jim is talking about what would be considered what, like late stage capitalism. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, the collapse, the bubble burst. Okay, that I can see. I can see that argument. Yeah. All right. So you're gonna say that well, we'll end up having like people go towards indie games to a greater and greater degree so that they can escape the loot box hell that is the triple A game industry, right? Okay, I can see that. But railing against capitalism in general, the games themselves are capitalism. They're all capitalism, like except for something maybe like solitaire. Like if you rule out all the games that aren't capitalism, you get a small list of games to work with there that don't involve capitalism, that don't involve some kind of competition, that don't involve trying to gain a higher score, that don't involve trying to improve yourself so that you can sell your brand in some way, shape, or form. Like, all right, yeah, okay, all right, let's just blame capitalism, I guess. What I really think is that you start off with a passion project, it moves to a profitable project, and then a profitable project eventually turns into a microtransaction loot box hell, and then you start over again. Hmm. Well, I don't know. It was just a weird thought that I had when I saw that. I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, like, yeah, that doesn't really make very much sense to blame capitalism just because corporations are greedy. Like, you're not going to get rid of that greed by applying something else. That implies that there's a solution to the problem. No, no. The only solution that I can think of that may actually work is through some kind of a cryptocurrency system or something like that, where the incentives inherently create a fountain of wealth that everyone gains from. But even then, there's still going to be people getting wrecked when they do day trading or whatever. There's still going to be people who get wrecked when the price dumps. I don't think you could do anything. I don't think there's a solution here. It's saying that capitalism is the solution when it's the only solution that actually works and is based on all of the things that people actually play in their games. Like every fucking game that I can think of that lots and lots of people are playing are all about gaining wealth, taking wealth. All right, whatever. It's a little weird.